Hi everybody, Josh Renkens. I'm here with Hudson. He's a rising 7th grader and he came in with some pain down around the backside of his ankle and kind of into his heel area. And what we've done is we've assessed him and we've discovered that one of the reasons he's having some Achilles pain is his tibia was in a position where it was almost excessively externally rotated and he lacks internal rotation of that tibia. So every time he lands on that right foot and pronation, which is synonymous with internal rotation, occurs, his Achilles and all that structure down near the bottom of his ankle is almost like it's getting wrung out a little bit. And it's tough to see on camera, but go ahead and turn around. If you look, but you can it's more palpable, you can feel, so this might be happening on yourself, but as I get down into the tendon itself, as I get right about here, as I get close to that heel, you can feel the thickness in the tendon. That thickness, of course, is the body's mechanism of trying to fight off that stress that's being imposed upon it. So there's literally some hypertrophy, and you can almost feel to the point where there's a little bit of gristle going on in that tendinous part. So what I wanted to share with you today is some of the exercises that I want to give Hudson. I'm going to show you something to address the tightness through that posterior chain, and then I'm going to show you a nice little drill where you can work on some tibial rotation. So the first thing I want you to do, Hudson, is sit on the floor with your legs straight. So you're going to just sit like this right next to me. And you can take, a good way to start is just to try to soften some of that tissue. So you can take a ball, this is a lacrosse ball, and I'm going to put it near the top of my lower leg, almost right in the fossa of my knee. I'm going to bias the lateral aspect of all that tissue. And I can spend some time, I would suggest anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes rolling the upper quadrant of that posterior calf. And then after that time elapses, you can go down and you can do the bottom half. So I can roll from the mid lower leg all the way down into that tendinous portion. And again, I'm sort of biasing the lateral aspect. And then you can repeat, you can do the same on the medial side. 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes per quadrant, if you will. And then what I would do is you can really feel the stress on the medial side of that tendon. So you can get right in to the back side of the tibia, of the medial side of the tibia. You can push in, and I'm not on the Achilles, I'm more pushing into the back of my tibia, this big bone right here. So push in and kind of turn the tissue. So if I was going to do that on Hudson, go ahead and sit more like this. Yeah. So he can take the ball, or I can do it and push it in and then kind of wind up the tissue that way. And then I can test it. I can turn clockwise, I can turn it clockwise, counterclockwise. I feel a little bit more tension when I turn it clockwise. So I can just work that tissue, the medial side of the tibia, just like that, all the way up into the calf musculature itself. So that would be the first thing. Depending upon where it is, like this is a pretty acute case, so we don't necessarily want to stretch the tendon because it's been damaged a little bit. So rather than do that, I would rather have him work some of this tissue and then give him a drill for internal rotation of his tibia. So go ahead and come up on the table here. And let me demonstrate first, and then I'll have you do it. So remember, it's his right side, so I'm going to get into a position, and I'm going to put my right forearm, and I'll roll this up just so you can go off this landmark, underneath my hand, or underneath my knee rather. And then I'm going to grab my femur, the upper thigh bone, kind of with my hand to stabilize it, okay? And then from here, if you look, we all have this bump right beneath our knee. It's called the tibial tuberosity. That's going to be your point of reference, your landmark. And what I want to do is try to internally rotate my tibia in, and then you want to try to externally rotate out laterally. Internally rotate. So I'm not, and mind you here, I'm not just swiveling my foot in and out. My point of reference again is more the tibia, not the foot. So I want to rotate in. I'm stabilizing the femur above, and then I'm rotating out. And then I rotate the bone back in and back out. So Hudson, try that. Just sitting down, he's got his right elbow underneath his knee. He's stabilizing this upper thigh bone, the femur, with his left hand. And then he's going to begin to rotate internally. Very good. And then back out. And he's doing a good job. And if you have, an assistant like me, I can gently sort of guide him into that motion. He's doing a really good job here. And then come back out. And you can do it for repetitions, you can do it for time. Typically I would give someone, okay, let's do 10 internal and external rotations of that tibia. So if you're dealing with a tendonitis or a tendinosis of some kind, there's different causes, so you gotta first identify where the cause is coming from, and then secondly, go after those causes so that you get better effects. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll see you next time.